Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload, as you can tell, we'll be talking about early indications for a pretty large storm system next week. And if you saw my video yesterday, it was talking about a very unusual pattern, pretty much describing how dry and precipitation free our pattern will be, and that's gonna hold its case. But that pattern is gonna last for about a week and a half, and at the end of that time frame, we could see a big storm that kind of breaks that, and then we could be looking at a pretty active October possibly. So. Yes, it's very far out. This storm will most likely change. I mean, 100% the forecast will change. Whether or not the storm will actually still be in forecast, a week away, week from now, is definitely something that is tough to say. But since there's not much else going on across the country, nothing to really give you a real update on, if you will, I wanted to just talk about the next big thing, what's the biggest threat in long term. And really, aside from just warm temperatures and the cool air, I wanted to talk about the actual precipitation, and in this case, that's the storm. So, if you guys are new to this channel, hello and welcome. I am the weather enthusiast, a weather fan, a hobbyist, not a meteorologist. Don't can't get those too confused. But I definitely love the weather, and we have a bunch of people on here that love the weather as well. So, if you'd like to join the community, hello and welcome. Consider subscribing. Check out the video. Check out the channel. And if you are a returning viewer or you just like to support the channel, liking the video would do a lot. Commenting also is fun because I do read all the comments and try to reply as much as possible. And usually it turns out that I reply to every single one. So let's start talking about this GFS Outlet Global Forecasting System we have. Let's go back to our 006, that is as of right now, and see what is going on. We have the remnants of Tropical Storm Sally at this point. It's a tropical depression. I don't know, it might be actually even an extra tropical depression or storm. Basically, the biggest threat of wind, it's kind of over, but it's still dropping very heavy rain across the Carolinas and the South Carolina, and Virginia. So lots of rain and flooding, so the danger is still there. And I want, this is kind of like the big thing that's going on right now. But after that passes through, really not much going on. We'll see some heavy rain possibly across several counties in Oregon tonight and into tomorrow. Really not a statewide thing, but because of the mountains, they could wring out extra moisture from the storm that's making its way onshore. By the way, the storm that does make its way onshore doesn't really do much for the rest of the country. Notice we have a very strong high pressure delivering very chilly temperatures and including some snow showers across southern Canada. If you live, in central Quebec, even close to Nova Scotia, even northern Maine, there's a bunch of freeze and frost advisories and warnings across the northern United States. Fall is definitely on its way. So as we push this into Saturday and into Sunday, notice that we'll see more cool air spill into the northern United States. We see a storm right here starting to brew. We'll see what that does. Notice there's precip across the northwest and southwest Canada, British Columbia pushing into western Alberta. Really, this storm, the mountains pretty much destroy it. After this, the storm tries to reorganize. You can see right off into Saskatchewan. And it really is just a weak job of that, and it pushes on, kind of dissipates. Sometimes if we have the right conditions, these storms spin up into pretty large, sizable storms like we've seen in the past months. Not this time. Doesn't look like that's going to be a threat. What we see, though, that's really eye-catching is this tropical storm right here, possibly impacting the southeast. This storm may not be itself the strongest storm, but you could see it sticks around for a while, so it could just kind of bring in rain for a long period of time. Which could cause definitely a flooding threat. Notice we also see a very strong hurricane, tropical storm we'll have to see that is pretty far to the north, and the forecast is still kind of changeable. Yesterday the European was throwing it onto the northeast. Today it's just pretty much taking a straight track into Nova Scotia right there. Definitely still would impact the northeast with lots of wind, but really the main wind event and rain threat would be southeast Canada. So since I do include Canada in my forecasts now, I'll briefly go over that. Again, I don't want to go too in detail on this. For best info, go to the National Hurricane Center or the National Weather Service. Those are your official weather sources. Notice 950 millibars of pressure. That is pretty strong. That's most likely a Category 2 or a Category 1 strong hurricane. And this far to the north, the water temperatures are cooler, so it's very hard for it to, stay a strong hurricane. It's gonna be a major hurricane south of Bermuda, way down south, and that's kind of where it is right now. But obviously, to this point, it will weaken. How much it will weaken and what track it will take are obviously the big questions. But wherever it, if it does end up hitting land, it will drop quite a bit of precipitation. And notice this moves it into Quebec as just a regular storm, but still lots of precipitation associated with it. Total accumulated precip. We see 80, 90 to 100 millimeters of rain, which is quite a bit of rain for the Americans. The U.S. The metric system you can see is in millimeters. We measure in inches, right? So that's probably anywhere from 4 to 5, 5 being the top of this range. 150 millimeters is kind of around that 6-inch range. And so, regardless, a lot of rain, definitely. And, you could see the potential where we could have a wrong forecast. If this goes into the northeast, obviously this quarter of heavy rain shifts into the northeast. If this heavy rain, you could just stay, completely off coast, the heaviest of the rain. And hopefully that does happen, but most likely the size of the storm will still produce showers and storms. Hopefully just, not ridiculous amounts of rain like we saw across the southeast. Now, notice across Texas and Louisiana, especially the coastal areas, we could be looking at a lot of rain due to that tropical storm. Most likely a weak tropical storm or kind of a mid-strength tropical storm. The winds wouldn't really be that much of a concern. It's just the constant spinning. I mean, you can see that thing sits around there for a while. And across the United States, really not much. A few areas of showers, maybe some light rain. Generally, though, cool weather, transitioning into more of a warmer pattern at around this time frame. Kind of that cool air blast over the weekend. You can see right there shifts away. And therefore, we see a lot of this precipitation kind of stay scattered, not much moisture to work with. We see these constant storms across the northwest and into British Columbia, so lots of rain there. Definitely loads of rain, right? But you can see these storms really don't make it themselves into much. And with the precipitation of one of these storms may be just enough to reorganize itself, and the models kind of have been hinting at that. And this is the storm, if you will, talking about. I mean, you can see it's very far out. It's not next Monday, but the Monday after that, so a week and a half out in time. You could see that there's that low pressure right there. Quite a bit of rain, quite a bit of precipitation. This moves into the northeast, and we could be looking at more activity kind of following that. Again, this is very changeable. This could be completely different even a couple days down the road. If you were to look at a couple model runs, because I'm showing you this because it has been consistent. This isn't just one model run that's showing this. The GFS has been consistently showing a storm at around that time frame. You can see this was further out in time, this model run, because it was, Wednesday. But now with today's model run, it's only 240 hours out because that's how much time has passed, really, around 24, 36 hours. Notice right there we have a large storm system, and that one definitely is strong and powerful. If you were to look at the midnight run of today, again, a powerful storm possibly indicated by the GFS, and you could see that it definitely, there is a mention of the storm. Whether or not this will be as strong as it's shown, we'll have to see, but you could see if it were to occur, definitely something to talk about. And really today, it kind of pushed it forward, if you will, in time, put it in a little bit earlier, but not as strong. Again, we'll have to see how that all plays out. It's very far out, so at this point, making any predictions is pretty flawed. I'm just here to tell you that there's a possibility of the storm, and we'll have to monitor it. Otherwise, there is really no big threat. And you can see this was today's 12 o'clock model run. Definitely showing a storm, a sizable storm, and a cool down afterwards. Whether or not that will happen, we'll have to see. If you were to look at the Canadian model, this is a highly regarded model. Sometimes I should say it's really the GFS and European are much better models, but we still like to look at it. There has been instances where the Canadian has been right, and the GFS and European were both wrong. Notice it's still showing the two tropical storms, one in the Gulf, one out in the Atlantic. I should say not tropical storm for this one. This one would most likely be some sort of a hurricane, depending on the intensity. Notice the Canadian takes it pretty close to the northeast. We'll have to see how that all plays out. And then in terms of the U.S., the inland 48 states, excluding the coastal areas and a few areas, just dry. A few areas of showers, generally nothing to speak about. The Canadian includes a slight mention of the storm system right here, but we'll have to see. Again, the models are kind of all over the place, and there's no big consensus that came through. The GFS Para, it's a new GFS model that's gonna take place of the GFS. It's been, obviously it's still far away from taking that replacement, but it's been all over the place in the meantime. The data is often missing, so it's really kind of unreliable. But if you were to look at it, you could see showing a storm possibly across the northeast, similar to what the Canadian is showing around Friday, so a bit earlier than the big storm, which you could see possibly would be occurring right around here. But that's when this model run kind of gets its data interrupted, so we can't really make a big prediction out of that. Let's take a look at the European. I want to take a look at the Europeans yesterday's model run, because yesterday midnight, the midnight model run showed a very large storm across the Midwest and into the Northeast. A little bit to do with this tropical storm right here, but definitely still a powerful system nonetheless. And we'll have to see if that occurs. As of today's updated model run, it's kind of stopped that mention. It ceased to say that, if you will. But it definitely still has a chance of precipitation across this time frame, an increased area of precip, so we'll have to monitor that. And I actually want to show you the European. I have it pulled up on Pivotal Weather. This is a different weather website that we use, and it is a very, very good. It has a European model for free of charge, so that's awesome. Notice we have the low pressure right now across southern Canada. That's the reason why, if you live in the Midwest, you may be feeling some cooler temperatures, all thanks to this low pressure being able to drive this high pressure down. We also again have that precipitation, heavy precip to do with Tropical Storm Sally, or what was Tropical Storm Sally, even a Category 2 Hurricane Sally. But now it has obviously decreased. Notice for the next few days, high pressure remains in charge, really drives everything away. That's a high pressure spin clockwise. So, you know, in this type of motion, yellow color, I do apologize, it's a bit tough to see. But any precip that tries getting in kind of gets deflected, if you will. And you can see the European also keeps a mention of this tropical storm in Texas and Louisiana just spinning away for days. And that's definitely not good news, as that could cause lots of flooding. Doesn't look to be strong, 994, but again, it doesn't have to be strong to produce heavy rain. And then look, the European takes the hurricane, or what I think this is coined as of right now, Hurricane Teddy. And you can see it's strong, 941, possibly a major hurricane, you know, in the New England Bay Area. And it takes it right towards the northeast. We'll have to see how that unfolds. Again, you can see it quickly weakens as it moves to the north, because it's very fast moving. I mean, you can see it's speeding, but the cool water catches up to it and eventually just destroys it. I mean, you could see 981. At that point, that's basically just a regular storm system off the East Coast. But definitely, we'll have to see if this takes a turn a little bit further to the northwest a little bit earlier. That could result in being maintaining its strength and impacting the land while it's stronger. We'll see. Notice that the European brings this tropical storm. Yesterday's model run connected this tropical storm with a disturbance to the north. Today it doesn't do that necessarily, but it definitely still kind of keeps the mention of precipitation, and we'll have to see what results of that. And maybe, you know, just an increase it looks at that point of precip. I hate to do this, but let's just take a look at the CFS. This is just an extremely long-range forecast model. Usually very unreliable, and that's pretty much always the case. But I just want to take a look at it and see what it shows at around this time frame. You can see it mentions more precipitation and more storms across the United States for sure, spinning across. So, I think a more active pattern come October will definitely occur. It's just, we'll have to wait for these next kind of 10 to 15 days of a period of dry weather. But that's definitely, good news. A lot of people will be able to enjoy the dry weather, get outside and do the fall hobbies that may consist of fishing, hunting, all of that good stuff. It's just going to be pitch perfect weather. I mean, if I were to pull up the National Weather Service, which we could see right here, let's go. Also, I want to point out, look at all the frost and freezes to the north. That is definitely a concern. You could see that many locations, even as far south as southwestern Wisconsin, could be getting areas of frost. You can see 41, but some pockets could be getting down into the 30s. So, fall, winter are on their way as typical, even if the fall is a warmer fall. But I just want to quickly look at just our forecast. I know that many across the country are really viewing the same conditions. I mean, just look at that. That's something you'd see in Phoenix, Arizona. Sunny, 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 sunny. Not a single drop of rain, which definitely isn't the best case scenario. It's going to be a bit dry, right? But, I mean, just the temperatures, 68, 72. Could get a hot at times, but just beautiful weather. So, enjoy it while it lasts, as October may be bringing more of that nasty fall weather. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all guys in the next episode. See ya.